Anybody got a question? Yes, ma'am.
If we design a home, this is all, looks good and everything, we find a lot, but it might be in a flood zone.
Mm-hmm.
Would you recommend then a certain upgrade to a different design? Or build it a little differently to, whether it be pilings that you put in?
Correct. That's a good question, and what she's asking is if she finds a lot that's not readily buildable, can we come up with a method that can build a house up on pilings or something like that? That's entirely possible. We have, if you go to our website and look on our brochure, you'll see that we use Pearson pilings. These are fiberglass composite pilings, and we have a light deck system, which is an elevated concrete floor system. So yes, we can accommodate and show you how to overcome those objections. Basically what you've got to be doing is going to the county, and the county or the city, whatever, is going to tell you, in most cases in Brevard, it's the county, to tell you what the floodplain is for each lot, and you know what the elevation is, you got to build it. But we do have engineers in our group that can engineer that house for you and build it to that. Anyone else? Yes.
Could you speak a little bit about corrosion, or whether there is possibilities?
That's a very good question. He's asking about corrosion of the steel. I can give you a copy, or you can go on the website, and there is a report that was done by the Miami Testing Laboratory and the International Home Builders Association, and for this area, in the Miami area, they've aged the steel to be exposed. And their report says that the steel that we use with a G90 galvanization, which is the heaviest we can get, will last 400 plus years. So if that's sufficient time, I think that would work. But we can give you that port, or like I say, you can get it off the line.
What's your fasteners? How do you fasten it together? What are they made out of? Is everything galvanized? Is there stainless steel fasteners?
No, everything is galvanized. We use G90 galvanization, and we're using a minimum 50 KSI steel. So to give you an example, if you go to Home Depot or Lowe's and you look at their steel studs, they kind of feel flimsy like an oil can. That's because they're only 28 KSI, and they're about 3 gauges lighter than what we use. So everything that we've done is using structural grade steel. So 50 KSI is all we use. And sometimes we can even use 70 KSI. But most of the time we don't need it, because we change the gauge of the steel based on the load that it's got to carry. So an 18 gauge steel stud will literally carry 3,000 pounds of load for each stud.
Do you put any primer on them before you close them in?
No, it don't have to, because it comes already. The steel coils come from the steel mill. We use the steel coils from the mill that already has the zinc and galvanization on it. And then we only use automated equipment that shears and punches the steel, and it actually itself adheres itself around that hole and close it up. Now, if you ever have to cut a piece with a saw or any kind of abrasive blade, then yes, we spray cold galvanized primer back on that joint. So we don't let anything go that is not fully protected. And then once it's sealed up and your house is completely enclosed, we don't leave any steel that's exposed. Everything is covered. Stop and think about it. The other thing that we do when we design our homes, we have what's called a semi-conditioned attic, which means we don't have any vented soffits in our roof. We don't want any air in the attic. The Solar Energy Center up in Cocoa did a study after the 2004 hurricanes, and they found out that 60% of all the damage done was wind-blown rain blown in the vented soffits and collapsing the roofs and things like this. So the state code was actually changed based on their knowledge, and we've worked with them to come up with it. And so because of that, we spray foam the attic at the deck level So our attics don't get below 82 degrees in the hottest day of summer. So that helps your air conditioning ducting, so you don't have to overcome 140 degrees, you're only overcoming 80 degrees. And this also helps downsize your equipment, so then you don't have as big of an air conditioning unit sitting there just sucking up electricity. So, but that's a good question. Yes?
But can you tell us, after you've gone in the initial installation, which makes the package workable, what's between the initial installation and the drywall?
Yeah, what we do is I invite you to come out to our factory, because we have a little model built there so that we can show you actually what you get delivered to your job site and how it's insulated. We have about 75% of the insulation that's put in at the shop. And then after you put in your electrical wires and any plumbing and anything you need in the walls, then we recommend a outside subcontractor come in and spray all the walls and the roof deck and tie that into the wall, so you're like living in a thermos bottle. Because we don't want any air. Air is our enemy. That's what creates problems. So that is what saves all your costs. And our windows, by code, if you build a concrete block house, you have to leave a 1-inch gap around the window, and they put a wooden buck there. So there's really no insulation 1 inch all the way around your window. Our windows, we only leave an 1/8 of an inch gap, and then we caulk that in with a spray foam. So we seal it 100%. And this is why we're getting what we're getting, but it's a little more work to it and a little more, not time, because the way we do it in the factory, we guarantee your window opening will be within 1/16 of an inch of perfect square. Because we're using computers to build everything. That's what we're doing. We're taking advantage of the computer age, CNC machines, and we design it. Once we design it, then we convert that to machine language, take it out there in our shop, plug it into our computers there, and just start rolling those coils of steel, and the parts just keep spitting out. And every hole is punched, and all we do is just line it up and either put a rivet in the walls or bolts in the trusses or whatever. We don't cut it's a very rare occasion that we ever have to hand cut anything. And we know, and I've shipped houses to the Hamptons in New York, and I built one for a builder up there a couple years ago, about 7,000 square feet. And he couldn't believe that we built this house in Florida and got up there and put it all the way around, and there was an 1/8 of an inch gap. But that's, if he puts a slab in right, and we give you all the dimensions and everything you need to put that in, if it's in there right, it's going to fit, because that's the same way the space shuttle's built. It's built on a CAD system, and they know how it's going to fit before they put it together. Yes, sir.
I think in talking to you at the home show, you mentioned there is no outgassing, right, on that foam.
Correct. The only outgassing of the foam is about the first 24 hours. On our exterior foam, we're using EPS, which is the same thing as a styrofoam coffee cup. A lot of people think a coffee cup is styrofoam, but it's EPS, expanded polystyrene. Styrofoam is a trade name of Dow Chemical, but everybody refers to it as styrofoam. And so that's the exterior of your home. We have 1 inch of that with a 3-pound density. It's almost as hard as a rock. An analogy to that is that NASCAR racing uses this as their safer barrier walls. The same type of product. It's just a matter how dense you get it and how thick you get it. And that determines the R factor, how density and thickness. But no air can get through it. We take a wall that we've manufactured and we put it in our yard, and the hottest day of summer, we shoot a temperature gauge on it, and it'll be 140, 150 degrees on the exterior surface. We come around to the inside and shoot it, it's whatever the air temperature is. That heat does not get through that foam. That's really the benefit of foam over fiberglass or other types of insulation. And then as the temperatures go up in the morning, in the afternoon, they start going back down. So the heat never gets through the wall before it starts going back the other way. So that's why we engineer it to where we know that's going to happen.
So the outer material of your frame home
Correct.
is one fits all.
Well, not necessarily. No. We put whatever finish you want. If you want stucco or
Right.
hardy board
Are
or...
there things that you advise to stay away from? Like if you want, logs or wood versus, and stone.
Now, stone is a good product because termites don't eat stone.
Okay.
The only thing we try to stay away from is wood.
Wood, okay.
Because of the termite situation. Now, there is products on the market that if you wanted a log-looking house, we can give you a siding that looks like logs that's made out of steel. Shingles on the roof. We have shingles that actually are metal shingles, and they look like a flat
Slate?
shingle roof if you looked at it. But it has a 50-year warranty that's transferable between owners. That's how great the product is. The fasteners are concealed. You don't ever see them or don't ever get exposed to the ultraviolet rays of the sun, because on a metal roof, what really goes bad is the neoprene washers in the screw. So if you use a standing seam or something that's got that concealed, then your roof is going to last for 50 years, basically.
What if you want one room to be like a greenhouse or indoor pool where you want everything open? How do you design that to where it still stays within your codes that?
Well, we can do that. We've actually had cases where I put indoor swimming pools in and all the different things. There you got to start thinking about the humidity.
Windows, so it's all.
Correct.
So the whole wall goes away.
Right. Now, when you start using a lot of glass like that, then it's a matter of the quality of the glass you're putting in there. You need to have high insulated glass or maybe triple pane glass. These are things because we got to cut the heat down. And but yeah, we can design with that. Well, it's not a problem. There's some great products on the market out there, and that's what we're going to bring to you, is to tell you about some of these things and show them to you. Yes.
How is retail values holding up over time so far versus wood versus like CBS? Are retail values holding up for steel?
Well, I can give you one example. That's a good question, how the resale value is holding up. I have a customer that we built a house for in Canaveral Groves in Cocoa about 10 years ago. And he was a retired electrician from Detroit, and so he built his own electrical. We built the house for him, and essentially it was an owner-builder case, and he piped every bit of it. He put half-inch conduit in the walls, and so he always wanted to be able to change his wiring out. But it was his time, so it didn't matter. It didn't really cost him any more money. But about a year and a half ago, he and his wife decided they were going to sell that house and move to Paris Island area of Beaufort, South Carolina. And he never had to list that house on the market. As soon as somebody found out he wanted to sell it, he had 2 buyers to buy it. So I think that was a testament to the way that house was built and the marketability of it. But it was a beautiful home. And he called me the other day, actually, and wanted to know. He says, "I'm really, really sorry I don't have my house anymore." But he went up to South Carolina and bought something existing.
How you fasten the plywood to the steel trusses now?
Pardon?
How you fasten the plywood to the steel truss, roof trusses?
Okay, that's a good question. How do we fasten the plywood to the roof trusses? Aerosmith Corporation makes a special pin. It's super sharp, feels like a hypodermic needle. And we use a pneumatic gun, and you shoot it right through into the steel, and it actually welds itself into that steel. You cannot get it back out. When it's there, you better have it where you want it. In fact,
Flat on top.
it's perfectly flat. It doesn't stand up at all. And basically what we do is when we're decking the roof, we use screws and tack it all down to make sure that it all fits and everything is exactly the way we want it. And then we chalk line and then come back and shoot it off. Because if you have to move it, you better have a screw that you can back out. because you can't get those nails. I've actually put it down in Texas on a floor where we decked a second floor with material, and the guy come and he wanted to change it over a little bit, and we literally had to take a skill saw and run right by the nails so we could peel the wood away and then cut the nails off, because you can't pull it out. It will not allow it. Yes, sir.
What is, like, to get your CO? Because a lot of us, we want to move in and just finish it. But what's the minimum thing you have to have inside the shell to get your CO?
Well, that's a good question. He's asking what is the minimum thing you have to do in order to obtain a CO. That is going to vary from area to area, but in this area, you don't need your floor finished. You don't need your carpet or flooring down. But you got to have your plumbing finished. You got to have all your electrical finished and all the life cycle things finished, and then you can add that stuff later or change it.
Just curious about roof. Has anybody ever done like a solid concrete or steel roof, not put plywood in?
Yes, that's a good question. He was wanting to know, has anybody ever done a solid concrete poured roof? Actually, just before I came to this meeting tonight, I had a gentleman stop in that's going to build a 3-story house over on the beach. And he looked at our website and he said, I really want you to build my house. And he's wanting a flat roof to be put on it. And we have a concrete system that's called a light deck system, where we use a foam and it has beams built into it like a bridge. And so we can span whatever span necessary. And then we pour about 10 inches deep and then 4-inch cap all the way across the top of it. And that will last forever. Yeah, it's the same thing we use on second and third floors, you know.
Sort of like a condominium.
Yeah, we built a house in Rockledge to where we put the concrete down on the second floor, and literally you can be having a rodeo going on up on the second floor and you can't hear it down on the first floor. It's an amazing product and it's amazing installation value to
Is
it.
it still a 30-day waiting period for that, you know?
No, it's not, and I'll tell you why. We use post-tension cables. It's usually about a 10-day period, or we test the concrete, but as soon as it gets to a certain, and another thing that a lot of people don't understand about concrete, say you want 3,000-pound concrete or 2,500-pound concrete, which is the minimum, well, use a 5,000-pound mix, because concrete will cure to 50% in 3 days. And then you can pull it. Once you pull it in tension, you can start taking the shoring and stuff down out from under it. So it does not hold the construction up. You know, we plan around that, and we would use that.
Do you
Yes, sir.
still- No, go ahead. No.
Now, I was just wondering what your standard warranty covers and how long it is.
Well, the basic warranty on the house structure is 2 years. That's the normal warranty. And then you have each component, like your air conditioning, you get 5 years worth of warranty on your compressors, all the different components in the making of the house. And we give you all those. We give you the booklets and what the warranty is and who it was bought from. We'll show you how to have all that information available to you. But we stand behind the structure. The structure is never going to be a problem. If it is, it's going to be a problem right away. And we've never had a problem with that. It's over-engineered, actually. My engineers will not put their name on something that doesn't have twice what it needs. Yes?
Tell me about the safe house part that you can actually interior put in.
Yeah, she's saying, what about the safe house? And a lot of times we build houses. In fact, the one that's on the back of our postcard here is an owner-builder house that's down in Valcaria. And the gentleman built the house himself. And literally what we did, we took one of his bathrooms in there. Even though he's got a hurricane-rated house, he wanted to have a safe room in case of a tornado or something. So we took concrete block and built the walls of that one bathroom inside that house. So literally he's got a place to, almost like that movie I remember seeing one time where he's escaping there and hiding, nobody can get to you. I told him that's what he was doing. But that house that's on that postcard, he put a 5 kW solar panel on that house because he was really wanting it, and he told me his highest electric bill totally has been $35. And it's a 3,500 square foot house with a pool, 2-car garage, a barn, and everything. So he didn't quite get rid of it, but he came close. Yes, sir.
Do you have a packet or anything that kind of gives your cost breakdowns?
Yes, we do. We can tell you the different costs between materials. Is that what you're asking for? Yeah, we can show you that. And also, once we can come up with an initial floor plan for you, then we will do a budget plan for you, and a budget idea. I'll give you an example. I tell people the rule of thumb is you should be able to build a house, a normal house, for about $75 a square foot. The average price the builder is going to charge is about $105. They're adding 30% onto that. And they have to. I mean, they got overhead to pay, office to pay, foremen to pay.
75 is, if we go through you, that's your normal average cost, 75 a square foot?
That's yes. This house that I just showed you up that we're doing on Melbourne Beach, that's being built for $74 a square foot.
Is that out the door, turnkey?
That's turnkey. That's finished. Now that doesn't count any site preparation or anything. I'm talking about the house itself.
Right.
Well, that's not finished inside of the cabin.
Oh yeah, that's finished inside. That's ready to move into.
Right, okay.
You should be able to get it in at about $75 a square foot.
So that's not just what your,
Oh no, our part is only going to be about 1/3 of that. Yeah. No, that's what you're going to have into it. Now that's going to depend on what kind of tile you pick out, or you know, what kind of appliance package you buy, or what kind of kitchen cabinets. And we have some things in place that can help you save money throughout the house. We have a distributorship with one of the largest cabinet manufacturers out of New Jersey, so we can help you in that end. We're going to work a deal with a large home improvement store to be able to work discounts for our customers that you wouldn't be able to get on your own. So it's almost like having a buyer's
out of
club.
curiosity, do you know of El Dorado Stone?
El Dorado Stone, yes. That's a good product.
Yeah.
hmm And that worked fine. You can do stack stone, or we can pour.
You know, if you recommend like a better price than them with somebody, with another company.
Well, there's different companies out there that has that, or see, El Dorado is a brand.
Right.
So you can get the same thing from 3 or 4 different suppliers. You just want to bid it around. Yeah, it just depends on how hungry they are at the time. But we know what it should be in an area, and then we're going to teach you how to negotiate. Negotiation is the name of the game, and that's what it's all about. Yes, sir.
How long have you been doing this owner-builder thing? I know you said you're a builder for 30 years, but how long have you been doing this program where you're working with owners, build their own house?
I didn't quite.
How long have you been doing the owner-builder?
Well, the owner-builder program we've been doing for a couple of years, but not as a promotion.
Yeah.
What we're wanting to do now is actually start promoting it. We've been doing that because I've built houses everywhere to owner-builders, ship them to people. We've not done a lot of business with contractors because our system is going to cost a little more than what a contractor can go get the cheapest house built for. But with the money you're going to save, then our home is going to end up being the least expensive. And you get the better product. So if you want a Mercedes instead of a Chevrolet, that's what we're going to give you for the same price, or less.
So if your dollar per square foot's about 25?
Pardon?
So if your dollar per square foot's about 25, you said your cost is about a third of the 75? How does that compare to stick built or?
Well, a stick build is the cheapest way you can build a house. And the analogy that I was giving you on that 1,500 square foot house a while ago is about a $10,000 difference. And $10,000 more on your mortgage is about $45 a month. But if you're saving $159 a month because of the way we built the house, you'd be glad to pay the bank an extra $45. And that's what we want you to look at. We want you to take and look at the structure and build the best structure. Let's assume you're building a race car. You're going to want to build that frame the very best you can do. And then you put a body on it. And that's what we want to do with your house. We want to make it as strong as we can possibly build it.
Also, you live in Florida, termites and hurricanes, why not?
Right. Yeah, that's the two things we have to worry about. And we don't have to worry about termites. We do still have to pre-spray in Florida because the building code requires it. The international building code outside of Florida, we don't have to if it's built out of steel. But Florida doesn't recognize it, and that's no big deal. It's about $400 or $500 extra that you got to spend to have termite protection. A concrete block house is not a termite-proof house. I asked a lot of people up in the Sun Tree area having serious problems up there with their trusses getting eat up with termites. And if you put a concrete block house up and then come put a set of wood trusses up on top of it because you can save $1.50 a square foot, you're going to pay it in the long run. And I had this interesting story. I had a roofer tell me the other day he was over on the beach side doing some roofing work and he had to go up in the attic, you know, to make sure to do some damage repair. He was shocked, he said, at the amount of rust on the clips that's holding those wood trusses together. If we ever get a major storm, those clips are not going to hold up. They're great when they're first put in there. But rust will make metal pop. It will expand. Just like concrete. If you get rebar too close to concrete, it'll bust the concrete because when it rusts, it expands. And there's going to be a lot of problems. Our trusses are all bolted together with half-inch bolts with Loctite on them. And I'd challenge anybody to try to undo one after about 30 days. They seem like, I mean, we can't get them apart.
What's the difference of how you put a door frame in? If you have strong winds or someone, you know, trying to push their way in a burglar or whatever, is it better to have a door that opens out, or do you still feel safe and secure with a regular door that opens in?
Well, that's a good question. What she's asking is, how do you feel about outswing door versus an inswing door? We highly recommend outswing doors on the exterior because in a storm, when the winds are blowing 100 miles an hour plus, and the only thing you got holding you is the lock, or you standing there with a chair and everything else you can get propped up against it. But if you got an outswing door, the entire casing of that door is stopping that door. So it really is an impact. And it's been tested that way as an impact door. So I would highly recommend outswing doors.
I'm having one installed in 2 weeks, and it has to be an outswing door.
Pardon?
I'm having one installed in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
it has to be an outswing door.
Yeah. I would highly recommend an outswing exterior door.
Plus it leaks, insurance leak all the time.
Yeah, because I remember my daughter, the last hurricanes we had in 2004 was over her sister-in-law's house over on the beach, and they spent all night long holding the door shut. And that was not a really bad storm. You know, it did a lot of damage, but in storms ago, I've seen a whole lot worse. Yes, sir.
Have any of your houses been inspected by citizens, wind mitigation boys looking for it?
By wind mitigation?
By citizens, expressly, Citizens Insurance, wind mitigation inspectors.
Yeah, we've had our house panels all tested at the Hurricane Test Lab to where they're certified to withstand up to certain winds. They waterproof test them. They shoot 2x4s at them and they got to bounce off without causing any damage. Same thing as your windows and your doors and all these component parts that you want to put in this house. You want it all to have been tested.
So when they send their guys out to look at your home, it will pass?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got engineering to certify that. And we'll furnish that to anybody that wants to take a look at a copy. We have engineering to certify. And then that's why our engineers sign and seal your plans. Once we draw your plans, then our staff engineers and our group will sign and seal it to withstand those, because they're relying on this testing that we've had done.
Do you use just certain kind of windows?
Well, yes, we use all impact windows are what we recommend. We have a deal, we do a lot of business with custom windows out of Ocala that manufactures them. Or you can use a PGT, that's another one that's manufactured in Florida. But pricing, it's all about getting a good quality window and then trying to get the best price. Any other question? Well, I really appreciate all of you taking your time to come out tonight, and I would invite you to give me a call and let's set up an appointment so we can meet one-on-one, and that way we can start discussing about a plan for you and helping you find a location if you don't have one already, and then help you find out what it's going to take to get it cleared or ready to build. We can give you a lot of advice on that, and we know of people that does that. So if you'll come out, then we will walk you through our manufacturing process and show you exactly how it's made and why it's as strong as it is. I think you'll get a good idea for it. Thank you.